I'm Carlos.
Rayan.
Mark.
And I am Thomas Lonville, and this is my persuasive speech. In college baseball, in NCAA Division I, they are allowed 11.7 scholarships and the maximum to 27 players. There are usually 40 players on the team, and so there's usually one or two players who can get a full ride, and so that means 37 players will be having to pay for college. College sports can take up a lot of time, and therefore it's hard kind of to get a job when you're playing baseball. This information is important to me because a lot of college players are not getting enough food, and then it's also a huge debate all over the nation. And I think this is important. I chose this topic because I'm a college athlete, and I think it's just a huge debate that should be brought up and talked about. College athletes work really hard every single day, and then they also bring in a lot of money into the school. And then I believe they should have a living stipend, or even maybe have the possibility to do sponsorships. The main points today are background information, and then the disagreement that education is money, and therefore they are getting paid, and then also kind of a day in the life of an athlete. So as the first main point, background information, paying college athletes started in the 1900s. They were paying athletes who actually were not enrolled into the school, so that kind of brought up issues. So in 1948, there was a sanity code that started. It limited financial aid to tuition. And then hearing from schools might drop out of NCAA, in 1950, they changed it to tuition and then also fees like room and board and books. But however, there's still schools that were not agreeing with giving athletic scholarships to athletes. And those are the Ivy schools, and they still, to this day, do not give athletic scholarships. They're just academic. So the disagreement, for main point two, the disagreement that education is money, and therefore they're getting paid. So college athletes are getting a scholarship to the school, but most of them are not getting a full ride, and it doesn't even cover everything because they have living costs as well. So I don't believe they're getting education, but I don't believe they're getting paid. And then also there has been things like people are trying to figure out what the NCAA would do in order to figure out which athletes get paid more or less, or if everyone gets paid the same. Also with Title IX, do women's sports and men's sports get paid the same, or is it different? So that's kind of a lot to handle for the NCAA. Like I said earlier, the college athlete doesn't have time to have a job. They'll be doing sports and schoolwork pretty much a lot of the time in the day, and therefore don't really have a job. So if they don't have a full ride, or they still have to pay and they don't have too much money, then they will have to get a loan, and then might be up in debt later. And the full ride doesn't cover everything. There's living costs that they have to deal with. And also if a person is not playing as well, or they get injured, then they could be kicked out of the scholarship the next year. Next slide. So a day in the life this fall for me was I would wake up at 6:30 in the morning. I would go run with the team, and then we'd probably get back around 7:30, 8, and then we'd go to eat breakfast. And then after breakfast, I would get ready for classes at 9 and go from classes at 9 till 12. Then go eat lunch, and then head to weights at 1. And then weights would be done at 2. We'd go up to practice till 5:30, sometimes even later. So then I had to rush to dinner, eat dinner, and then I had a class at 6. So I had to kind of rush and make it to that class, and then the class usually got out at 8 or so. And so then when I got out of class, I would have to do homework until 10 o'clock or so. And so it was very hectic to be a college athlete, in my opinion. And next slide. And in the end, to review everything, I believe the college athletes are putting a lot of work, and they're having to, the universities are making a lot of money off of them, while the college athletes are still getting only scholarships for education. So I think they should be able to get a living stipend, or even sponsorships would be awesome for college athletes. And so hopefully someday the NCAA will figure that out and everything will get better. So thank you for listening to my speech.